Hi, everyone. In this interview, I speak with Andrea Johnston, who's the Assistant Deputy Minister at Innovation Canada within ISET. We spoke about the opportunities for digital transformation in Canada's manufacturing industry, the role of Canada's advanced manufacturing supercluster, NGEN, in supporting Canadian manufacturing companies, and what she sees as the forces and trends that are shaping the future of manufacturing in Canada. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Andrea Johnston. I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister of Innovation Canada.
Could you please begin by introducing Innovation Canada and the work it does to support the development of the high-tech and innovative manufacturing sector we have here?
Happy to. So Innovation Canada was created in 2017. So we do see ourselves like a startup, created largely in response to the fact that in Canada, we have a very low underinvestment in business innovation. While we're strong in higher education and universities and colleges performing R&D, and we have a strong venture capital ecosystem, Canadian businesses, when compared to our peers in the OECD, underinvest in business innovation. And as you know, this type of R&D and innovation is extremely important for our ongoing economic growth in Canada. So we're created as a one-stop shop for business innovation. We have two flagship programs, one called the Strategic Innovation Fund, or SIF, and that works on large-scale R&D programs. We work jointly with a company, and we invest in that company's R&D projects. The other flagship program are the 5 superclusters in Canada, and that's a new to Canada model based on industrial consortiums. So rather than a government to company, this is government funding an industry-led organization that finds the opportunities and works with many companies to drive these projects. It's very interesting too because SMEs are involved with large-scale multinationals of which we haven't really seen these type of industrial consortiums before in Canada. We are soon to launch the Canadian Digital Adoption Program. That will be in January, and I'm happy to talk a bit more about that as we go through later on today.
Obviously, it's a super crucial portfolio and the one that's having a lot of impact across a variety of sectors within the Canadian economy. If you look at the manufacturing sector in particular, what do you see as Canada's strengths and also our challenges in manufacturing right now?
Well, manufacturing has been the cornerstone of our economy for decades, if not centuries. And right now, it represents about 10% of Canada's total GDP. And I believe it exports about $350 billion each year. So it's very important to Canada's economic growth, but it's also home to leading edge innovations addressing key problems like greening the production of goods and uncovering new methods of food production. And so while it's at the core of our economic growth, it's also quite important that we seize the opportunities of digital transformation. And that's a bit of a challenge. In Canada, we're not seeing companies seize these opportunities as much as we would like. We recognize that retooling and digitized operations is expensive and it's full of risks. And so we're looking at ways to kind of reduce the risk and reduce the cost. And the Advanced Manufacturing Supercluster is one organization that's supporting that. The other thing that's interesting and a challenge for advanced manufacturing is we know that about 25% of the manufacturing workforce will retire by 2030, and that the youngest cohorts, those around in the 25 years old age category, account for about 5% of the workforce. So in order just to maintain production levels and let alone grow, will require both a higher degree of automation as well as attracting more workers, including skilled trades. And the manufacturing sector is seized with this challenge. And a lot of work has been going into creating engagement and outreach in terms of focusing the next generation of talent, those that are in high school, to look at the opportunities that advanced manufacturing has in Canada.
You mentioned earlier on that Innovation Canada is responsible for the 5 superclusters that were created a few years back. One of those is NGEN, Canada's Advanced Manufacturing Supercluster, which I think has received to date, I think approximately $230 million. That's quite a good sum, so a lot of firepower there. What role do you see NGen playing in supporting companies within the advanced manufacturing sector in terms of their digitization and their tech adoption?
So when the government of Canada decided to take this approach with superclusters, a new to Canada model in terms of industrial collaborations, we focused on areas where there was already a strong cluster. So in Canada, we have a strong manufacturing cluster. And the challenge is to maintain its competitive. It needs to seize these opportunities with what we call Industry 4.0 or AI and robotics. So what we call NGen, or Canada's Advanced Manufacturing Supercluster, has the dedicated drive and focus to ensure that Canada becomes a world-leading advanced manufacturing producer. It has the ability to develop and deploy these solutions in Canadian manufacturing for commercialization, not only in Canada, but in global markets. And so having that drive and focus is incredibly important to ensure that we learn from each other, because it is collaboration projects, but they're also driving something what we call an ecosystem in the sense that it's making partners. Companies that didn't know each other before are now connecting and building partnerships. SMEs are now part of a supply chain that they were never part of before. And we feel that the ecosystem, as well as the technology and development projects, will enable Canada to continue to grow in advanced manufacturing, and within the decade become known as a place to invest globally, and as well and a talent attraction that we do believe the high talent will be coming to Canada because of what incredible innovations are happening. So through some examples of the projects that they're doing, is having two SMEs have been working with an industry giant working to develop advanced manufacturing technologies to apply to the oil sands. They've also scaled up a factory floor ready system of independent multimedia 3D printers for additive manufacturing. And one of their projects has created the first of kind in the world of a smart factory that provides indoor growing of protein like crickets. So it's first in the kind in the world. And these are the type of projects that are happening through the work of the team at NGen that are driving the partnerships. So it's pretty exciting space to be in right now.
You mentioned that one of the impacts you think NGen will be making Canada a more interesting place for foreign investors looking at our advanced manufacturing sector. Obviously, one of the biggest criteria for foreign investors making that decision is talent. When we look at other areas like education or reskilling or the innovation ecosystem that leads to the R&D that drives the development of such an advanced sector, do you see any of those areas as priorities for public investments and other programs going forward?
There has definitely been a huge interest in skills. So while we can fund innovations, the skills component is equally important. And so whether working with companies to help them upskill their internal workforce is important, as well as looking at a global talent stream that we were working with our federal partners to bringing talent across the world and to streamline that process, knowing of the talent gaps that we have in Canada. So it's a bit of kind of a full court press working internally. That is working with the colleges to ensure we have the right skilled trades programs, working with universities to continue to develop the innovations, working with companies to continue to develop the upskilling of programs, but also looking globally where the next kind of talent is coming, and ensuring we have a very streamlined process. Because as you say, the quality of our workforce is a key determinant when companies decide to expand their production in Canada. And it's a key determinant for us to continue to advance in digital transformation that's required for businesses to stay competitive. So while we mention a lot of money for R&D programs, the skills component is equally important. Well, I think there's always room for stronger collaboration, between business and academia. One, for ensuring the signals, the market signals are coming back to the universities and colleges that can also inform the development of the programs. So that kind of two-way discussion is very important, and there are organizations like BEHR that continue to kind of bring colleges and universities and businesses together. So the more that we can have those kind of exchanges, the better Canada will be. And superclusters by default of their creation forces that discussion to happen from an ecosystem perspective. So more that we get those market-based signals back into universities and colleges, the better Canada will be.
Now, looking ahead, I'd like to ask you what you see as the forces or trends that will shape the sector's future. And within that, what you see as the biggest opportunities for Canada in advanced manufacturing. And also, if you can, what you think we have to focus on now to make the most of those opportunities and best position Canada to benefit from them.
They say, disruption is constant, and so there's many trends that are facing the advanced manufacturing sector, whether it would be supply chain, cybersecurity risks. I do think the one that faces every sector is the current environmental crisis and the urgency to address and the move to net zero and the circular economy. And in many ways, advanced manufacturing is so well situated to take advantage and drive important solutions, particularly in the ways that the products are designed, produced, sold, used, and disposed of. This is exactly the space that Canada's advanced manufacturing sector needs to be in, and we have some great capabilities in terms of engineering and how they design to reduce cost and waste, the sourcing. Everything is now going through a lens of ESG in terms of sourcing of sustainable materials, production, the need to have smart technologies to create the factory of the future. And then just in general, solutions that are driving sustainability are increasingly becoming the norm in the marketplace. So I really do feel Canada's advanced manufacturing can make a meaningful change in our move to net zero and can play a fundamental role in the circular economy.